Recently, I had a dream that I was walking on a path and my friend was walking just a little bit ahead. There was something I had to say to him, but I knew for some reason that I couldn't tell him directly. I pulled up a BlackBerry and typed what I needed to say. When it was ready, I hit send and the machine processed this message and then reversed it. Only after this reversal was the message ready to be told. I tried to sound out the words, guessing at the rules of the language and pronunciation when these words were reversed, and I was hoping that he could understand what I was saying. But the only thing that I knew, and that made sense in the dream, was that the message I had couldn't be conveyed to him directly. In order for him to understand it, he needed to figure out the message for himself. When I woke up, I felt I had received a very deep lesson. When someone tells you the way that you're supposed to live your life, when someone tells you that they know what's best for you, how do you like it? I feel that Socrates figured this out. When he was walking around Athens annoying the local population, he didn't tell anyone how they were supposed to live. He simply asked them questions. By using this method, which we now call Socratic dialogue, he was building up a substantial following that was considered dangerous to the status quo. For this, he was charged and eventually executed for corrupting the youth. But Socrates didn't corrupt anyone. As he said, "I cannot teach anyone anything. I can only make them think." He asked questions in such a way that people were coming to their own conclusions, and they resonated a lot more with that than the random lectures of people telling them what's right from wrong. Going a little bit further to the east, many people don't like the Bible because it's told through story, and it's told in such a way that people take the stories literally and call cap on them.
You really believe in Noah's Ark? You really believe Noah's Ark happened?
The Bible doesn't strictly lay out the lessons for you. You need to figure a lot of the things out for yourself. You need to dig through metaphors and figure out a lot of the things on your own. Jesus spoke in parables because by communicating like that, the listener is required to process the message through their own lens. They aren't just receiving a lecture, but personally engaging with the decision and building upon it themselves. So being that we can't really tell people what they should do, even if it's in their best interest, how do we make sure that our lessons are landing for them? How are people even supposed to know the right thing for them to do if you can't just tell them? If not everyone is going to study Stoicism or Buddhism to know how best to live, which they aren't, how is the average person supposed to know how to act? For this, we head to the East to get our answers from the great sages in India and China. The Bhagavad Gita states that whatever a great man or woman does, others also do. Eminent people must, in the public interest, put forth their best virtues. Then ordinary people try to rise to that level. It's almost at a point when instead of seeking to help others, you explore for yourself how best to live. And at that point, you let go of trying to help anyone and you just do what you feel is best. I believe Conor McGregor is a perfect example. Inspired a lot more people with his selfish quest to become the champ than someone else who set out to simply be an inspiration. People will say this is selfish. People will say you need to help others. But if you just do what you feel is right, live virtuously and authentically, people will notice that and seek to emulate that in themselves. There is no other way because you don't know what's best for anybody. You only can feel what's best for you. If that resonates with others, then they can emulate it. But you aren't making any attempt yourself outside of just being there if needed. And then finally, we can go further east and check in on the Tao Te Ching to hear about how a master would behave. It states that because the true master has given up helping, he is people's greatest help. The master does what he or she is called to and goes down that path, and others can look to that as an example. It would be easier for everyone if human beings could just do what they're told and stick to that. Because by speaking in parables and stories, people can misinterpret what was said and come to the wrong conclusions. By letting people look at your virtue as an example on how to behave, they could take the wrong lessons and go down the wrong path. But this is just the way things are. True words seem paradoxical, states the Tao, and isn't that the truth? Now if this resonated with you, maybe there's some other content you may enjoy on this account. Check it out and give us a follow.